There was once a young warrior, not just any warrior, the warrior, the one the village had been waiting for, the one whose name the elders spoke in hushed tones of reverence, the one whose enemies had heard stories about and trembled before ever meeting him face to face. He had trained every single day, not because someone told him to, because he understood something most men in his village had forgotten. That greatness is not given. It is forged in silence, in discipline, in 1,000 small battles a man fights with himself before the world ever sees him fight anyone else. This boy was ready, and on a cold night, he walked toward the village square to face the most dangerous enemy his village had ever known. He was not afraid. He should have been, not because the enemy was stronger than him, but because the enemy was smarter, and it had already studied him far longer than he had studied it. This is a story of how the strongest man in the village was destroyed, and why that warrior, every single detail of him, is you. The warrior had heard the stories. Every man the demon had ever encountered had died, not quickly, not dramatically, slowly, quietly, from the inside out. Their dreams died first, then their discipline, then their body, then finally, long after everything that made them a man had already gone, their breath, so the warrior prepared for war. But when the demon finally appeared at the village square, it did not come with fire or weapons or a face designed to terrify. It came bowing. "I can give you anything you wish, master," it said, voice soft, smile wide, eyes full of servitude that felt almost too good to be true. And here is where the story turns. Because the warrior, trained for battle, prepared for violence, ready for resistance, had never prepared for submission. He did not know what to do with an enemy that offered him everything instead of threatening him with anything. This is the oldest trick in the arsenal of destruction. Machiavelli wrote that the most dangerous enemy is not the one who attacks you openly, but the one who makes himself useful to you first, the one who studies your desires before revealing his agenda, the one who lets you believe you are in control, right up until the moment you are not. The demon did not need to overpower the warrior. It just needed to be invited inside. If you have ever told yourself that you are in control of what you watch and how often, that you can stop whenever you want, hit that like button, because that thought, that exact thought, is the demon bowing at your feet. The demon began small. Which girls in the village liked the warrior? It showed him the most beautiful places in the world. It revealed them, the greatest warriors who ever lived. It displayed them one after another, like a feast laid out for a hungry man, and the warrior ate. This is what Swami Sivananda described as the first stage of Aj's depletion, not the dramatic fall, but the gradual one, the slow leak, the daily draining of vital energy through the eyes, through fantasy, through the wandering mind that no longer needs to build because it has found a shortcut to the feeling of having built. The warrior stopped practicing, not because he decided to stop. He just kept telling himself he would start again tomorrow, after one more vision, after one more look, after one more hour with the demon that kept delivering exactly what he wanted exactly when he wanted it. Robert Bly and Iron John described this as the loss of the wild man, the primal, disciplined, purposeful masculine energy that drives a man to create, to conquer, to build, replaced by passivity, by spectatorship, by a man who watches life instead of living it. The warrior had become a spectator. He had gained weight. His practice time had collapsed. His fire, that sacred inner fire that had made the elders speak his name with reverence, was being fed into a screen 1 pixel at a time. And the demon smiled that same smile. Patient, quiet, still bowing. Think about the last time you sat for an hour doing nothing except consuming. No building, no training, no creating, just consuming. Drop in the comments. What was the last thing you built with the time you saved from your last fast from school? Then came the morning everything changed. The demon's voice shifted, no longer soft, no longer servile. The bow was gone. The smile remained, but now it was something else entirely. Triumphant, ancient, the smile of a thing that has been patient for a very long time and has finally arrived at the moment it was waiting for. "Have you seen the most beautiful girl in the world?" it said, voice deep now, authoritative, and the warrior, who had once walked toward an enemy in the cold night without fear, said yes, not because he was weak, because he was addicted, because the demon had spent months rewiring the pathways of his desire so precisely that he could no longer tell the difference between what he wanted and what the demon wanted him to want. This is what modern neuroscience confirms and what the ancients already knew. Dopamine is not your friend when it is hijacked. Every time the warrior looked at the vision the demon provided, his brain released a flood of reward chemistry, the same chemistry designed to drive him toward real conquest, real creation, real love, now being spent on pixels, on fantasies, on a simulation of life that cost him nothing and therefore built in him nothing. Epictetus said that a man who cannot govern himself will always be governed by something else. The warrior had stopped governing himself the moment he invited the demon inside, and now, weeks and months later, the governance had fully transferred. He was no longer the warrior. He was the audience. And in his village, while he sat watching, his dreams were dying one by one. One evening the demon spoke its final words to the warrior. "The deed is done." The warrior did not understand at first. He asked what deed, and the demon, no longer pretending, no longer bowing, no longer wearing any mask at all, told him everything. It had felt his power on that cold night at the village square. It had known it could not defeat him in open battle, so it had chosen a different strategy. It had appeared as a servant. It had made itself indispensable. It had fed his desires until his desires became his prison. And while the warrior sat consuming, dreaming of a beautiful girl he would never meet, watching a life he would never live, the demon's forces had quietly dismantled everything he was supposed to protect. His village was gone. His dreams were gone. His discipline was gone. His wild man, that primal, sacred, unstoppable force that had made him the chosen warrior, had been starved to death one wasted hour at a time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." But what happens to the man who surrenders even that, who hands the governance of his mind to a demon dressed as a servant? He becomes a trophy. The demon cut the warrior's head and added it to his collection, not as a monument to the demon's strength, as a monument to the warrior's choice.
But here's what the story does not tell you. Not every warrior loses. Some of them hear the villagers warning them at the road. Some of them look at the bowing demon and remember what they were told. Kill it while you have the power. Some of them feel that sly smile and choose discomfort over convenience, the cold night over the warm illusion. Those warriors go home. They practice, they build, they protect, and the demon, denied entry, denied a foothold, denied the slow weeks and months of gradual seduction, moves on to find a man less prepared. This is what semen retention is at its deepest level. Not a challenge, not a streak, not a number to post online. It is a daily decision to look at the bowing demon and say, "I know what you are, and I am not opening the door." It is the reclamation of the wild man, the reawakening of Ajas, the slow return of the fire that was never supposed to go out in the first place. The recipe is simple, not easy, simple. First, recognize the demon for what it is, not entertainment, not harmless, a patient, intelligent force that has studied your desires longer than you have studied yourself. Second, close the door before it knocks. Remove the access, the phone at night, the endless scroll, the one last look that never stays one last look. Third, replace the fantasy with the forge. Every hour you take back from the demon goes directly into your mission, your training, your craft, your legacy. The energy does not disappear. It transforms. Fourth, find your wild man. Go into the woods. Sit in silence. Fast. Train hard. Do the thing that frightens you. The demon cannot follow you there because the demon lives on comfort and the wild man lives on resistance. Fifth, remember the village. Your dreams are real people depending on a real warrior. Every time the demon bows and smiles, remember what it is actually saying. I am here to take everything you were meant to protect. If you are the kind of man who heard this story and recognize yourself somewhere in it, not with shame but with clarity, then the warrior in you is not dead. He is just waiting. Subscribe to Lone Warriors. This is where the warriors who woke up come to train. This is not a channel. It is a village worth protecting. And we need men who are serious about guarding the gate. The war starts within.